You'd think that closing a $10 million investment deal would earn you a promotion, or at the very least, a thank you. But 2 days after I brought in the biggest funding round our startup had ever seen, I got fired, not even with a meeting. Just a templated HR email at 7:38 a.m. No subject line. Just, your transition plan. Please read. They thought I'd take it silently. Maybe cry. Maybe send a polite goodbye on Slack. But here's the thing about underestimating the person who actually built the engine. You forget she knows where every wire is buried. What my CEO didn't know was that I was the only one with direct access to the investor. The only one who understood the tech well enough to walk them through the due diligence. And this is where it gets really fun. The IP license tied to the prototype? That was filed under my personal consulting LLC. Because 6 months earlier, when they asked me to quickly spin up a test model while legal was still being set up, I did it on my own equipment, on my own time, using a contract I had drafted years ago, one I reused out of habit, and it had one clause they overlooked. Any commercial use required explicit written approval from the original developer, me. So while Brent, the CEO, was busy posting on LinkedIn about how teamwork fuels momentum, I was having a very different conversation with the investor, the one who had no idea I'd been let go, the one who had wired the first tranche of funds 2 hours before I got that HR email. They weren't just surprised, they were furious. And within a week, the whole $10 million was frozen. I wasn't loud. I didn't go to war on Twitter. I didn't leak anything to the press. I just made a single call and let the truth walk in without noise. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't public. It's quiet, strategic, and built on the contracts people forgot to read. So if you've ever been discarded after doing the hard work, if you've ever been erased the moment your value made someone else look small, stay with me. Because this story, it doesn't end with a loss. It ends with a knock at their door from someone they thought they'd buried under an NDA. Startups have a way of blurring the lines between friends and coworkers, between chaos and brilliance, between promises and paperwork. I joined ours in the early days when the entire company was 2 guys in a co-working space eating protein bars for lunch and arguing about font choices. The company was called Waveform, AI-powered tools for healthcare diagnostics. Great pitch, terrible process. They had ideas, sure, but zero structure. That's where I came in. I wasn't hired in a formal way, more like absorbed. I'd met Brent, the CEO, at a tech networking event a year earlier. He was charming, fast-talking, wore too much cologne. He joked that I was scary organized, which I took as a compliment. He called me 2 months later and said, "We're drowning in admin. Can you just come in and do your thing?" Doing my thing meant everything from building investor decks to creating our first CRM to literally plugging in the office printer. I became the fixer, the person who kept things moving when no one else had a plan. No one ever told me I was indispensable, but they acted like I was. Until they didn't. Let me paint the team for you. Brent, CEO. All charisma. Zero execution. He could charm a VC but couldn't remember the name of our lead engineer. Obsessed with buzzwords like disruption and scale. Jess Koo, the queen of optics. Always smiling, always looping you in, but never telling you everything. If corporate backstabbing was an Olympic sport, she'd have a gold medal, delivered with a curated Canva thank you card. Me, head of growth in practice, operations associate on paper. I ran the numbers, closed the leads, wrote the grants, and handled every serious investor pitch except the ones Brent insisted on derailing with sports metaphors. I didn't mind not having a fancy title. I believed in the mission. I liked being the quiet engine behind the curtain, but I was also careful. Years of freelance work before Waveform had taught me one thing. Always protect yourself, especially when everyone acts like family. So when Brent asked me to spin up a quick prototype demo for our AI scanner, before the IP had been officially assigned, I offered to do it through my LLC. He said, Yeah, whatever makes it faster. Just get it done. So I did. Fast forward 6 months. I was running point on an investor relationship with a health tech VC called Ironmark. I'd been nurturing the connection for nearly a year, on calls, in follow-ups, in late-night deck edits. They weren't just investing in waveform. They were investing in my ability to deliver. When they signed the term sheet for $10 million, everyone celebrated. Brent posted a vague announcement full of rocket emojis. Jess gave a toast in the break room with grocery store champagne. And I went home, sat on the floor, and let myself breathe for the first time in weeks. The next morning, I noticed something strange. An internal meeting titled Strategic Realignment was added to the calendar. I wasn't invited. Then came the whispering, the accidental CCs, the team Slack channels I suddenly didn't have access to. Something was off, but I ignored it because I'd just helped close a $10 million deal. What could possibly go wrong? 2 days later, I found out. 7:38 a.m. Templated email. Your transition plan, please read. No call, no warning. Just gone. I remember staring at the subject line like it was written in another language. I thought it had to be a mistake. Maybe a glitch. Then the realization hit like a cold splash of water. I had been cut out. Right after delivering the most valuable win of my entire career. I didn't cry. I opened my laptop, logged into the investor CRM, took screenshots of every message I'd sent over the past 6 months. And I remembered something Brent had once said to Jess in passing. He thought I wasn't listening. She's great, but she's not essential. He was wrong. And he was about to find out exactly how wrong. I didn't reply to the termination email. Didn't call HR. Didn't text Brent or Jess asking why. Because deep down, I already knew. They used me to land the money. And the moment it hit, I became a line item, a liability, an asset that had already performed. That night, I stayed up until 2 a.m., not crying, not wallowing, just reading. Every investor doc, every Slack archive I still had access to, every version of the pitch deck I'd built by hand, now suddenly scrubbed of my name. And then I opened the investor contact sheet. The VC firm we'd closed, Ironmark Capital, had only 2 contacts, one for Brent, one for me. I clicked into the email thread. And that's when the pieces started to fall into place. 6 weeks earlier, I'd introduced Ironmark to the company officially, after nearly a year of soft conversations, check-ins, and deck reviews. Every email was from my account. Every document went through me. Every technical explanation, I wrote it. But now, Brent had forwarded that same investor thread to himself, removing me from the CC line, and renamed the folder in our shared drive to C-Suite only. And the kicker, the product prototype, our core tech, still carried the metadata from the day I created it, on my own laptop, under my own LLC, back when the company had no legal framework and Brent had waved off formalities with, just get it done, we'll clean it up later. Spoiler, they never cleaned it up. I pulled up the original prototype license, the one I'd filed using my consulting firm's template years ago. One clause stood out in bold. Any commercial use of this product, demo, or derivative thereof requires written consent from the authoring entity. That entity? Me. I emailed my lawyer, Mia. We'd worked together back when I freelanced full-time. She was practical, precise, and had a particular distaste for tech bros with angel funds and messy cap tables. I sent her the prototype license, the investor emails, the termination notice, and a short message. Is this enforceable? She replied the next morning with one word. Absolutely. From there, it moved fast. We sent a certified letter to Waveform's legal counsel, a formal notification of IP ownership conflict, citing breach of licensing terms, misrepresentation to investors, and unauthorized use of proprietary software. We didn't go nuclear. Not yet. We just made it clear. Any further use of my code, my demo, or anything tied to that prototype would result in a full legal block, including notification to Ironmark. 2 days later, Brent called. I didn't pick up. He emailed, let's clear this up. Don't escalate. I didn't respond. Because this wasn't personal anymore. It was strategic. Meanwhile, Mia sent a second letter, this one directly to Ironmark. It was worded carefully. A polite clarification that the core IP associated with Waveform's Series A term sheet was licensed improperly, and that further deployment may trigger a non-compliance clause in the term agreement. Translation: They were about to fund a product the company didn't legally own. Ironmark replied within 12 hours. They were livid. Not at me, at Brent. Their partner called me directly and said, "Why weren't we informed of this termination? Your name is on the diligence doc. You led our onboarding. We assumed—" I let the silence hang. Then I said, "They fired me 48 hours after the wire hit. No notice, just gone." The call ended with a sentence I'll never forget. "We're freezing the second tranche and pausing all press announcements until this is resolved." That same day, I got an email from Jess. Sweet, vague, full of fake concern. "We hope you're doing okay. We're all a little shaken by how this unfolded. Would love to find a path forward." The woman who erased me was now asking for peace talks. I forwarded it to Mia. Mia said, "They're scared. Good. Now we have leverage." So we made our offer. Immediate cessation of my IP usage unless relicensed. A licensing fee equal to 2.5% equity in the company, with voting rights. Name reinstatement on the founding team documentation for regulatory records. Brent stalled. Tried to renegotiate. Tried to loop in a junior lawyer to intimidate me. But Ironmark? They were already leaning out. Their silence said everything. A week later, I received the revised agreement. They caved. I didn't smile. I didn't celebrate. Not yet, because I knew something they didn't. I wasn't done. I just started writing the real story. Once the revised agreement was signed, I held a 2.5% equity stake in the very company that fired me. They didn't want to, of course, but Ironmark made it clear, either honor the licensing terms or they'd walk. And without that money, Waveform would fold in 6 months. Brent spun it like a new advisory relationship. Jess sent a chirpy company-wide message. "We're excited to announce my name will be continuing on as a strategic partner." Strategic partner. Funny. I hadn't logged into Slack in weeks. Behind the scenes, I let my lawyer handle the paperwork. I stayed silent, but I watched. I saw Brent's LinkedIn post go suspiciously quiet. The likes dropped. The startup press piece they'd scheduled with Tech Insider, it never ran. I saw job listings disappear from the careers page. Whispers on Reddit threads from ex-devs saying invoices were delayed. And that's when I made my next move. The licensing agreement gave me not just equity, but visibility. I now had access to board updates, investor memos, financial summaries. That's how I learned they were burning cash. Fast. Too fast. Jess had authorized a full-time marketing team before the product was even ready. They'd hired a PR firm, redesigned the website 3 times, and booked a booth at a major health tech conference in Vegas, with nothing tangible to show. So I did what any good strategist would do. I built a product. Quietly. Better. Faster. Smarter. Not from scratch. Just a refined version of the prototype I originally created. But this time, I filed every piece properly. With my name, my LLC, and a dev partner I trusted. I called it Signal Bridge. It didn't promise disruption. It promised clarity. And clarity sells better than hype. Then I made one call. To Nadia. She was a brilliant, principled founder I'd met years ago at a Women in Tech panel. We'd stayed loosely in touch, always meaning to collaborate. Now we had a reason. I pitched her the updated product. She loved it. We partnered. 1 month later, Signal Bridge launched its beta with a pilot at a local hospital. No media, no ego. Just clean design, user feedback, and functioning code. Meanwhile, Waveform tried to rebuild without me. Brent hired a fractional CTO from LinkedIn. Jess took over investor relations badly, and the cracks started to show. At the Vegas conference, they demoed a version of the app so buggy it froze mid-presentation. One investor tweeted about it. The tweet went viral, for the wrong reasons. The VC world is small. Founders talk. So do engineers. By the end of that quarter, Waveform had lost 2 engineers, a UX lead, and a $1.4 million follow-on commitment from a second fund. And me? I was sipping coffee in my home office, reading about it on TechCrunch. Not gloating, just breathing. Then came the email. From Brent. Subject line, open to talking. He wanted to clear the air. Said he had ideas for how we might collaborate again. He even offered a consultant role. Part-time, of course. No title, no equity. Just a friendly seat at the table. I didn't respond. But I forwarded it to Mia, my lawyer. She wrote back, "Sometimes the best answer is no reply at all. Silence is strategy." Then came Jess. She messaged me on LinkedIn. "Miss seeing you around. Hope you're proud of what we built." What we built? I didn't respond to her either. But I updated my profile that day. New line, co-founder Signal Bridge Health. A week later, Ironmark reached out again. Not about Waveform, about us. They wanted to explore a small seed round for Signal Bridge, just to stay in touch with the person who actually delivers. Their words, not mine. I asked Nadia what she thought. She laughed and said, "Let's take the meeting, but let's make sure the paperwork's tight." So we did. And this time, I wasn't just the name buried in the footnotes. I was the one at the table. 3 months after Signal Bridge's launch, something strange happened. A journalist from a mid-sized tech blog reached out. She was working on a piece about funding ethics in early-stage startups. Said she'd heard rumblings, investors pulling out of Waveform, ghosted employees, and one particularly strange IP dispute. She wanted to know if I'd be willing to talk. I didn't confirm or deny anything, but I gave her one sentence. Just follow the ownership filings and see who was there first. A week later, the article dropped. The startup that raised 10 members fired its rainmaker and paid the price. It didn't name me directly, but anyone who knew the space knew who it was about. It told the story in neutral tone. An unnamed female executive who closed the deal, a founder duo who rewrote history, a licensing oversight that cost them millions, and a rising competitor quietly absorbing their market share. The day the article went live, I received no fewer than 6 DMs. Former coworkers, investors, even a Waveform engineer I barely knew. One message stood out. "We always knew, just didn't know how to say it. You said it without a word." Meanwhile, Signal Bridge kept growing. The product worked. Hospitals loved it. We weren't chasing buzz. We were solving real problems, cleanly, ethically, on time. We started picking up the exact customer profiles Waveform used to court, not because we undercut them, but because their trust was gone. Then came the final twist. Ironmark, the original VC, formally exited their position in Waveform at a loss. But they didn't walk away entirely. They reinvested in us. A quiet note came through from their partner. We'd rather bet on the person who kept their receipts. When the announcement hit Crunchbase, it made a ripple, not a splash. Just enough to stir the room. Waveform tried to act like they weren't bothered. Brent posted a tone-deaf thread about the power of healthy competition. But by then, half the comments were asking why their LinkedIn headcount had dropped by 60% in under a year. I didn't celebrate with champagne. I bought a chair. A really good one. The kind that supports your back after a 12-hour sprint, building something that's finally yours. A few weeks later, a recruiter forwarded me a job listing from Waveform. They were hiring for a director of strategic partnerships. The irony? The job description was word for word what I had actually been doing before they erased my name. I smiled and deleted the email. Around that time, Jess reached out again. She didn't apologize, just said, "Hope we can all find a way to collaborate again someday." I finally responded, "I already have, just not with you." "Brent?" He stayed quiet, but I heard through the grapevine that he'd stepped back from day-to-day ops, a phrase that usually means someone got nudged out without a headline. What I built after that wasn't about revenge. It was about correction, setting the record straight, building something clean from the ground up, making sure every person I brought into Signal Bridge had a stake, not just a task. That's the real twist. I didn't burn the old bridge. I just built a better one next to it. And then I watched everyone quietly cross over. Today, Signal Bridge has a waiting list of hospitals. We're cautious, deliberate, we don't overpromise, but we overdeliver. And every time we close a new contract, I get a little notification ping. Not because I need the money, because it's a quiet reminder. You can't fire someone whose name is written in the foundation. I used to think winning meant public validation. Headlines, press releases, applause. But now I know better. Winning is waking up without dread in your chest. It's logging into your email without fear of being blindsided. It's building something of your own, on your terms, and watching it grow brick by brick. Waveform is still around, technically, but it's a ghost of what it could have been. A brand with buzz, but no backbone. Signal Bridge is quiet, lean, focused, but real. We don't throw parties for vision. We solve problems. We sign contracts. We deliver. And we never forget who did the work. I think about that morning often, the one where I read my termination email with shaking hands. Not because it hurt, though it did, but because it was the moment I stopped trying to prove my worth to people who had already decided I was expendable. It's funny. Brent and Jess thought I was too quiet to be a threat. But silence isn't weakness. Sometimes it's where your power sharpens. They moved quickly. I moved precisely. They erased my name. I licensed the future. When people hear this story, they often ask, would you do it differently if you could go back? And the truth is, no. Because without that betrayal, I never would have built Signal Bridge. Never would have rediscovered the power of choosing myself. Never would have realized that being underestimated is a gift, if you know how to use it. If you're listening to this and you've ever been cut out of something you built, erased from a story you helped write, or made to feel like your loyalty was your liability, I want you to hear me now. You are not disposable. You are not dramatic. You are not just support. You are the engine, the reason things held together, the hands that held it all up while others took the credit. You don't have to scream to be heard. You just have to keep your receipts, play the long game, and trust that when it matters most, silence can roar. If this story hit home, if you've ever been pushed out, passed over, or replaced after giving your best, drop A or in the comments. Let others know they're not alone. Let yourself be seen. And hit subscribe. Because on this channel, we don't just tell stories. We reclaim them. Every week, we unpack real stories of betrayal turned into blueprints, of setbacks turned into startups, of silence turned into strategy. Because the truth is, you don't have to burn bridges. You just have to make sure next time you're the one who owns them. Coming up next, my mother-in-law torched my wedding dress right before the ceremony to stop me from marrying her son. But she didn't expect what happened at the altar. Don't miss it. Because some stories don't just end, they turn.